My name's Katana.
My name's Laura.
I'm Jackson.
Okay.
Our group topic is gun control and the Second Amendment. Gun control is a set of laws or policies that regulate the manufacture, sale, transfer, and use of firearms by civilians. Currently, in several states, not including Iowa, Minnesota, California, Maryland, New York, and New Jersey, there is no law on the number of guns an individual can obtain. In 1999, 22% of all handguns recovered in crime were from multiple purchases of guns at one time.
Our group strongly believes that the number of guns allowed to an individual currently is dangerous in many states. One gun in general is a harmful object, let alone more than one.
The opposing side might say, gun control laws do not stop crime. Gun ownership does. In response to this, one might say that gun control laws will reduce the number of deaths per year in America.
We believe that gun control laws will not prevent criminals from using guns in a harmful manner. 62 mass shootings in the U.S. between the years 1982 and 2012 consisted of several illegal obtained guns. Our group understands that our perspectives and opinions on our topic. While our group believes there should be a regulation on the amount of guns one citizen can obtain. While several guns could lead to violence, our group also believes that high-capacity magazines can be just as dangerous as several guns being used by one person. According to our research, several websites, including gun safety organizations, states that guns are rarely used in self-defense. Our group understands that our perspectives and opinions on our topic. While our group believes there should be a regulation on the amount of guns one citizen can obtain. While several guns could lead to violence, our group also believes that high-capacity magazines can be just as dangerous as several guns being used by one person. According to our research, several websites, including gun safety organizations, states that guns are rarely used in self-defense.
Katana.
This is Rick.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you a few questions about gun control in California and the U.S. But first, how long have you been working in this field?
40 years.
And what got you interested in working with guns?
Family of shooters and hunters. And when in the old days, or back in the 70s when I was involved, a lot of the stores had, I hate to say it because I'm there, but grouchy old men. And you'd walk in and they kind of, what do you need? And I finally got to the point, I said, man, I can do this. So I started my own store.
So can you tell us the process of purchasing a gun or many?
Or what?
Or many?
Or many?
Any guns, yes.
Well, under California, you have to be 21 years old. You have to be, I hate to use the word a good citizen, but that means no felonies, no restraining orders, no assault and batteries, no domestic violence. Actually, you can't owe the state any money in taxes or child support or speeding tickets. You got certain little criteria. But mainly that, and state is requiring a safety test now. It's kind of like when you take your permit for a driver's license. It's a 30-question test they do, and it's just like a 10 true and false, 20 multiple choice. If you pass that safety test, we issue a card that says you're knowledgeable about gun safety, and then you can purchase a gun as long as you are or you don't fall into the categories that prohibit you. Then you pay for it, and you have to wait 10 days, and then you get to pick it up.
Alright, so do you think that a person having multiple firearms is more dangerous opposed to a person with only one firearm?
I have friends with hundreds of firearms. They're more of a collector. There's one gun. You know what? That's a good question. I would be, if I had to sit there and say, is one more dangerous than the other, black or white? You know, I think it's foolish either way to think it. But is there one more dangerous? I would say the one with one gun might be more dangerous than the guy with multiple guns. The guy with multiple guns is in the sport. He's using it. He's shooting. He's involved. The reason he has multiples is he's enjoying what he's doing. So he's in a different world. Whereas maybe somebody has just one, he might be the one that, you know, you just don't know where he's at. If you had to say something between the two. Otherwise, no. You know, it shouldn't matter. But if you had to say which one's worse than the other, if I had to be afraid of one, I would say I'd be afraid of the person with just one, because I just don't know what, you know.
he's using it for.
Not to say that it was purchased just as a self-defense gun, it's going to sit in a drawer at home and that's it. But I mean, if you had to pick one. Kat, question?
So would the process be the same for, say, a person who was mentally challenged or had a disability?
Well, the state is, you know, it depends what mentally challenged and that. I've got a few people that are mentally challenged that buy guns. They're, I hate to say maybe they're borderline autistic, but they are of that nature. And they are not prohibited from buying a gun. And they buy guns and all this and that. Now, if you have somebody that's under medical care, doctor's care, the state should have a record there, and the state will prohibit you from getting it. Mentally ill, you're not going to get a gun. You come into my store and you show me something like that. I'm not wasting my time, because all the work I got to do and type it all up and you know, put it in the computer and all that stuff, and I know the state's going to kick it out. So, yeah. So, really, on mentally challenged, it just depends what criteria of mentally challenged.
Pulling away from our interview with Rick Dodge from Dodge City Shooters, it was an extremely interesting experience to interview a person with a different perspective on gun control than my own. He shared with us his strong opinions on how he believes that a person with one gun is actually more dangerous than a citizen with several firearms.
The owner of Dodge City Guns shared his opinions on how the number of guns permitted to an individual has no effect on community safety. He voiced the danger of smoking, which killed over 4,400 smokers in the U.S., not included victims of secondhand smoke.
Our group has come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter how many guns you own. All it takes is one gun to harm one person. In the end, it all depends on the citizen purchasing the firearm.